Haji Murad, a short story by Sadeq Hedayat. Haji Murad, a young shopkeeper, reopened his shop after a long absence due to his father's death and his mother's while selling their house for gold coins. The family moved to Karbala, where Haji, the sole heir, inherited his uncle's title of Haji and the shop. Haji was unhappy with his wife, who had been fighting and using physical violence to maintain control. They eventually reconciled, but Haji was particularly frustrated that they had no children. His friends advised him to take a second wife, but he refused, fearing it would only worsen his situation. He believed that his wife's young age and intimacy helped them navigate life more easily. Haji was also young himself, and he believed that God would grant them a child if he willed. He did not want to divorce his wife or give up his habit of beating her, as it made her more obstinate. In summary, things had gone haywire, especially since the previous night, and Haji was not inclined to divorce his wife or give up his habit of beating her. The word Haji held special importance to Haji, even though he had not visited Mecca. He enters a bazaar, splitting watermelon seeds and spitting them on the ground. He thinks about his usual struggle with his wife, who has been retaliating with retorts and beatings. It's Friday, and his wife has cooked rice and vegetables. Haji reminisces about his wife's words, comparing him to a fake Haji. He tries to think of ripping his wife's belly open if he were to meet her there. As he approaches Mesopotamia Street, he imagines spending Friday with his bosom buddies and playing music in the Murad Bek Valley. He notices his wife passing him without offering any sign of recognition. Haji recognizes her white border of her veil, but is puzzled by her sudden departure without his permission. He suspects she is going home, but his anger has reached its limit. He wants to catch and strangle her, and shouts, "Sharbanu," as he loses control. As Haji approaches his house, he realizes that his wife is leaving without his permission. He is left wondering where she is going, and his anger has reached its limit. He shouts, "Sharbanu," as he tries to control his anger. Haji, a man, finds himself in a chaotic situation when his wife leaves without his permission and does not acknowledge him. He is unable to distinguish his head from his foot and shouts at her. She threatening to turn him over to the police. The woman, still shrouded in her veil, continues to yell at the police, causing Haji's vision to darken. He steps back and strikes the woman, threatening to divorce her. Haji recognizes her from the start and is determined to keep his reputation intact. He has given her the benefit of the doubt and restrained himself, but now the knife has cut to the bone. He asks people to be his witness, as his wife is unchaste. Haji's anger is evident as he confronts her, stating that she is trying to toss his reputation to the wind and that he will eventually divorce her. A woman criticized the spectators for allowing a shabby bum to molest a decent woman on the street. She threatened to take revenge if Mashti Hussein, the money changer, was present. A couple of mediators took Haji aside, and a policeman appeared on the scene. Haji, the woman, witnesses, and mediators all set out for the police station, each telling their version of the story. The crowd followed, eager to see the outcome. Haji was wet with perspiration and doubtful, as he passed people near a policeman. The woman's shoes and stockings were different from his wife's, and the references she gave to the policeman were correct. Haji knew Mashti Hussein, the money changer, and she was his wife. Haji realized he had made a mistake, but it was too late. They reached the police station, where Haji and the woman were ushered into a room with two lieutenants. The policeman saluted, gave a detailed report, and then withdrew, standing at the other end of the room. Haji Murad, a lifelong servant at the officer's service, is accused of disrespecting a woman and assaulting her on the street. He mistook her for his wife and reveals that she imitates all animals and women. The woman accuses the officer of impertinence and threatens to give the officer what he deserves if Mashti Hussein finds out. The lieutenant asks Haji to step out and let them investigate. Haji admits that he mistook her and his reputation is at stake. The lieutenant writes a note to the policeman and asks Haji to count out some bills in the name of a fine. Haji is presented in front of the police station, where he is humiliated and receives 50 lashes. After the punishment, he removes his yellow cloak and throws it over his shoulders. The corner of the garment dragged along the ground as Haji set out for home. He tries to throttle the squeak of his shoes, but 2 days later, he divorces his wife.